This is a baseball facility, baseball facility. Baseball, softball coordination for the moderation for the soil, upling for level, up for the claying, up for the soil beating, also for the water lines and beat services. So the ink for the pitcher mound, so the pitcher mounds get hurt, the first baseman and also the shortstop don't get injured because of the ankles and the injuries on the systems that they got. And this is the services they got here at the baseball facility. They have the upgrades on the services. You can see that the west, east side, north side, which is the baseball softball facility. You see the walkway entrance and back entrance way. So the services and buildings and all the facilities will be back open very soon. They're going to be open very soon. Now the fellow administration office here in fellow Washington, Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, runs the services and be opening up all the businesses, all the offices very soon.
Just before we begin, I want to mention we're working very hard, long on getting a young group of people out of Peru. We've
The bar prep program was essential. I don't think I would have been able to take this a whole journey without it because they literally force you to start preparing early. They also shows you what kind of mental state you have to be in order to pass the bar. The types of essays and the MPTs and the types of tests that you have to accomplish are very different than from my country. Without the bar prep, I would not have been able to start this whole process.
One of the advantages of the UW program for me was that it encouraged me to study really hard, and it was a personalized program for me at that time.
So one of the most important things that I've gotten from this bar prep is the guidance. And when I say guidance, it's not just guidance, it's a very tailored guidance coming from Professor Carrie Sanford herself. And she would literally meet you, anytime you need her, and then walk you through all your obstacles and setbacks about the bar itself. She is an amazing, amazing person that can carry you through all your issues and that can prep you in the best way possible for this challenge. UW has an excellent early bar prep program. They have classes, they have people that can help you, and it's really everything you need to get you through it. What I love about the UW Law bar preparation is that Professor Stanford is very supportive of us. She offers one-on-one coaching, and I love how she made my schedule and um, just to make sure that I don't neglect any subject and I'm doing my best. Did the LLM in UW for the only reason for doing the bar, and I took a lot of courses, which was helping me to study for the bar. And I think it was really helpful, and I'm so glad I chose UW over other schools which I had other offers from. The bar prep that the UW provides for the LLM student is very, very helpful because
because you have to through 5 courses that you already covered before you start the actual bar itself. I advise every LLM student who is preparing for the bar exam to try and take these courses, because that helped me to take the bar exam as a mother of 2 kids.
My dad graduated from UW-Law in the 90s, and that obviously impacted me hugely. I mean, for one, I grew up with a little UW sweatshirt that I loved wearing, and for two, my dad's work was a huge part of my life growing up. There were definitely dinner table conversations that were more like depositions. My family is a big lawyer family. Both of my grandparents on my mom's side have law degrees, as well as several of my aunts and uncles. So it's definitely something that runs in the family. My name is Allie Johnson. I'm from Seattle, and my alma mater is UCLA. And for work, I am a publicist with a public relations firm called Edelman. My work at Edelman is mostly about helping communities, in my case tech companies, kind of tell their stories and communicate what they're doing, usually focusing on the positive to the broader public. In my personal life, I'm getting married in August, so I'm in the throes of wedding planning. My fiance is super supportive of me wanting to go to law school, mostly because it would be more painful to not let me go to law school. I think he knows that I am someone who wouldn't be satisfied without doing this. I've always been interested in politics and kind of the mechanisms that help social change come to life. When I was a senior in college, I had an internship in the Senate with the junior senator for Washington State, Maria Cantwell. I wanted to work in Congress because, to me, that was where the center of all of this change is happening. Plus, just some of the changes I was seeing on a national scale really served as a catalyst for me wanting to go back to school and get a degree so that I can have the power to change things. I had my last day of work at Edelman. I was doing work and meeting with reporters until basically like the very last possible moment. And it was a little bit emotional, like leaving that world behind and kind of closing that chapter of my life that I really enjoyed. But at the same time, I am so excited to be here, and I really wouldn't trade that for anything. So I got married August 31st, Labor Day weekend. In retrospect, if I'm going to have any future giant life changes, I might space them out by more than August 31st, Labor Day weekend. In retrospect, if I'm going to have any future giant life changes, I might space them out by more than a couple of weeks. It was a little bit overwhelming, but it was also an incredibly exciting time because all of these things that I've wanted to do for so long are finally coming to a head, and in a lot of ways I feel like my adult life is like really getting started and kicking off, and I'm very excited to see what lies ahead. sophomore year of high school, AP US history class, we would do these like reenactments of Supreme Court cases. And it was supposed to be kind of like if you were to redo the case in present day, how would you decide the outcome? So my classmates and I were assigned Korematsu versus the United States, which was the 1944 Supreme Court case that was surrounding the Japanese-American internment. In 1944, the Supreme Court voted against Korematsu essentially to, sustain that it was okay to incarcerate Japanese Americans, and my classmates decided to do the same in present day. Thinking back to like my family, so I'm Japanese American and my grandmother was incarcerated. I think that really stuck with me and has always been part of the reason that I wanted to kind of get involved in the legal field. My name is Christine McFadden, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. I graduated from Stanford University in 2012, and I currently work as a program manager at a tech company. I started on their legal team, on their in-house legal team, so I got a lot of exposure to just various legal fields. I thought that the work and the subject matter really interested me, really suited me, and I just sort of always had it in the back of my mind as something that I would pursue. I wanted to live in Seattle. I think it's like the perfect place, in my opinion. You can go to the mountains and the ocean in like a single day if you wanted to. And just loving how close everything is to nature. Really felt like home from the second we moved here. I had actually applied to UW a couple years back, got in and deferred admission. There was a lot going on with work at the time, and it felt like the wrong choice to leave my team. But now it feels like they're in a much better place, and I'm in a much more ready place as well to go. So we are currently in Occidental Square. I used to work about 2 blocks down this way on South King Street. My last day of work was last Friday. This has been, I think, the second day now into the official fun employment stage of my pre-law school phase. My husband, Max, who's also a student, I think mentally we're both kind of preparing to be students at the same time again. We're also, trying to make sure that we change our expectations. We're not going to have, weekends free anymore. We're not necessarily going to have our nights free. And so, maybe instead of binge watching that show, we'll go have like a study party together or something in the library. I'm going to have to be okay with, I think, being in a situation where I'm a little bit uncomfortable, but I think it's good. Being uncomfortable is good. I think it's what challenges you to become a better person. Thinking back to some of the events in my life that have inspired me to go to law school, all kind of go back to just helping people that are underrepresented. And I think wanting to stay true to myself and pursue that is important to me. But I think that's one reason UW stands out as a place where I feel I can really do that. Kind of see a law degree as you're getting like another superpower in a way. You're kind of getting this ability to do things that one without a degree wouldn't be able to do. And so I think getting this degree will help me kind of break into other fields and have an impact where I wasn't able to before.
Here UW Live found a great community. So important that you find the right group of people who will be there to support you mentally, emotionally, and obviously with your study.
The general atmosphere here is really fun, really collegial. When you walk down the halls, people are always saying hi to each other.
University of Washington, it's an atmosphere where you're finding people to work together on shared interest instead of adversaries on shared goals.
Overall, really enjoyed the people here at UW. It's probably my favorite part of the law school.
Some of the students that I've met I know that we will keep in touch beyond law school, and not just for law purposes, for networking, or it's really because I found some really good friends.
Almost every day we have a journal lunch. It's kind of a nice time for everybody to sit down together. One person will make lunch from the journal every day. It's a tradition that's been going on for a long time here, and I'm sure one that's here to stay.
Yeah, there's plenty that UW offers that allows students to pursue their passion outside of just the course load.
One of the best things about UW is that we have all of these different opportunities besides just academics. The best part of the Innocence Project Clinic is definitely working directly with my client. You work in teams, so me and my partner have really developed a really great relationship with my client.
I've really been surprised at how much the extracurricular activities I've done in ungraded classes have shaped my experience and even my career trajectory. Now that I'm about to graduate, all of the job offers I've received, all of the career direction that I've kind of settled into, has been a result of that fun hobby.
The words just can't express how, one, important it is for folks to have that practical experience, but two, for us to get out of the law school, get away from the books and all this theoretical stuff, and go and represent real people.
Being here at UW, again, being in a big city, being in the middle of Seattle, is phenomenal. I try as much as possible to go and explore and be in the city, which is also great because, again, it informs what you're doing here in the classroom. You have firsthand experience with community that you can bring back, and it helps with that whole life-work balance.
Find something that you love to do here and do it as much as you can. You're going to start to worry that you're spending too much time on that thing you love. Don't worry about it, because you're going to end up accomplishing something really cool, and that's going to stand out.
Most importantly, we're a community here at UW, both within the legal community and here within the school, and we are super excited to welcome you. I wanted to go to law school since I was a kid. I was raised by an entrepreneur. My dad started a custom closet business when I was about 5 years old. Just working in a small business and getting to see a lot of the behind the scenes things, I think, is what has driven me in law school now to want to focus on business and working with business owners. My name is Laura Valley, and I'm from Kenmore, Washington. I am a rising 3L, focusing primarily on business transactional work. I am a summer associate at Carr Tuttle Campbell, which is a mid-sized law firm in downtown Seattle. So I first actually only learned about Carr Tuttle Campbell through the OCI process. OCI is the on-campus recruiting. I had 12 interviews with 12 different law firms over 7 days. I like transactional work because it's not adversarial the way that litigation is. But in transactional work, usually you have a client and they have a goal, whether it's something simple like changing their business name or something more complicated like selling their entire business. But you're really just working with them and working with the other parties involved. It's interesting to see the things that I've learned in the classroom actually applied in real life. Getting to come in and draft documents and sit in on conference calls where they're talking about these things, I think is really useful just to get the full understanding of each subject area. Working here has more or less sort of confirmed what I already knew that I wanted to do, which is to be working in Seattle at a mid-sized firm, working with businesses, just sort of in their day-to-day needs or in their bigger needs. But it wasn't until coming here that I really got to understand what it was and that I do in fact like it. And so I think just being here has just reinforced what I already knew I wanted to do. The major transaction that I worked on our client was selling their business, and they still were retaining a few small assets, but more or less this was their retirement plan. This is sort of, it's something they've worked on their whole life, building this business, and now they're selling it. And I think just actually working with my dad in his business, I think you get an appreciation that yes, it's business and it's transactional, but there's always people behind it, and so that's what I like about it.
I chose UW because I'm really interested in civil litigation, and I'm from Washington, and so really passionate about making a change in the Washington state.
I fell in love with Seattle 2 years ago, and I really love UW. The law school is incredible. They became really disillusioned with our political system, and I thought that being a lawyer would be a great way to change.
I want to go to law school because I learned that there's actually more slaves and indentured servants in the world than there were at the time of peak U.S. slavery. So I would be interested in getting into human rights law internationally, working abroad, and taking down human trafficking rings.
Well, I've always been interested in law ever since I was younger, and I have a background both as a writer and as an engineer. And, so I've been interested in kind of going into corporate or patent law and putting my skills to use.
My dream job is to work for the Southern Poverty Law Center. Specifically, I'm interested in civil rights law. I've wanted to be an attorney since I was 11 years old, so that's about a dream job 10 years in the making.
I decided to go to law school because I'm passionate about criminal justice reform, prison reform, and I want to be a public defender after law school.
Coming into University of Washington first year, and really what I'm hoping to do is medical tech regulation. Lots of new technologies, and I think that we need people who understand it and are passionate and passionate about the law to help guide us through.
When I studied at the University of Washington for my undergrad degree, I knew I wanted to go into law, so I decided to work for the King County Prosecutor's Office for 4 years after that. And in the last year, I've been working closely with the domestic violence prosecutor, working closely with victims, and I can see the impact that a law degree can have on people's lives. And I just know that's the right career path for me.
I'm really proud to be here because the whole experience of getting into law school and then studying here in UW as a whole is amazing, and I'm really proud of that.
My proudest law school accomplishment in 2019 was the fact that I was admitted to the PhD program here. And the biggest accomplishment of all is the fact that I really get all the support I needed for my professors here and passed all my exams with distinction. And lastly, but not the least, the year my neighbor Carol, the month and a half now was born.
My most proud accomplishment of this year is that I was able to be a semi-finalist in the 1L law competition for a mock trial. So I'm really excited that I'd never done it before, had no experience in that, and so I just tried it on a whim, and it went well. So maybe litigation's in my future. We'll see.
2019 has been quite an exciting year. I had the opportunity to give a colloquium talk with the Barela Institute colloquium series, and it's an opportunity to share my passions, what I've learned about in front of my colleagues, my lecturers, including Mrs. Stan Barrow, who was part of the audience.
As a 1L in my first quarter, I am most proud of the participation I had in mock trial and making new friends by putting myself out there in that way.
I was fortunate enough to be offered a position with the Alaska Supreme Court for Justice least hours in Anchorage next year. So I'm really excited to be clerking for a graduation.
In 2020, I hope to continue the Sustainable International Development path, and that I'll be completing with the MJ program, and further that pursue in the field.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing 2 externships, one at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and then one with Justice Gonzalez down in Olympia. And then I'm really excited to go back to the firm, Miller Nash, where I was at this last summer. I'll be going there for my 2L summer as well.
I'm most excited about actually getting out and doing things for the community. So I'm really looking at community organizing and community lawyering, and a lot of like radical lawyering. So I'm really, really excited to do my summer internship in community organized ways.
The LLM program at UW feels like a community. It builds that. It gives you that feeling that you're not alone, and that you have peers, and that you have people that you can talk to.
When I came to the UW Law School, I was sure that I would meet some great people, but I didn't know how many people that I would meet from so many different places.
I feel like I gained so much from learning from many different cultures.
The diversity blew me away, and I think that the benefits of that diversity are the range of experiences and insights that you get, and different perspectives that people have that come from different backgrounds.
The atoll number 1 is a melting pot of so many cultures.
There's a lot of ingenuity and innovation, and I think that that kind of shapes the people that other people that come to Seattle, and also just the general city environment.
So coming to Seattle gives you an opportunity to be able to have access to a good law school, but also have access to a good network of professionals. Experiential learning for me, and the opportunity to be an intern at Landesa is a way for me to connect what I am learning to my next step in my career. Some of the faculty members that I have been able to learn under at the University of Washington are leaders in their field.
Working with the faculty and learning at the UW has been amazing. Professors are very supportive. I have issue with childcare, and I mentioned that to the director of my program, and she told me, Natalie, you know that we have a room for parents when they need to attend classes.
I've made some great connections with some faculty members, particularly in the Indian law area, and I think that there'll be some long-term connections that I have even across the giant Pacific Ocean.
Another thing that I love about the school here is that they have so many organizations where you can get involved, because throughout those organizations I get to meet other people, other professionals, other attorneys, and we organize so many events here.
I didn't really know what to expect when I came to UW Law, but what I feel like I'm walking away with is something really incredible. The benefits of it are going to, I think, follow me for the rest of my life. So it's been a real pleasure and a terrific experience to be here.
Attention commercial property owners. Do you own or manage a building with an old flat roof that won't stop leaking?
Let 'em run. UW. If one place can have it all, it's Seattle.
University of Washington.
Welcome to the University of Washington.
I love this university. Anyway, I only got about 2 minutes and 20 seconds to show you around, so let's get started. First of all, the campus is gorgeous. Eventually, you'll run into everyone you know in the liberal arts club, especially in the spring when our famous cherry trees are on campus. It's gorgeous. Eventually, you'll run into everyone you know in the liberal arts club, especially in the spring when our famous cherry trees are on campus.
And all across campus, you'll see 150 years of great architectural design.
This is Suzzallo Library. It was built to be the heart of the university, and students love the reading room. It's really ornate. Shh. You're kind of quiet. Anyway, let's see where we go.